We all have that backlog of games lingering over us every time we'd get our fat greasy hand across the controller. I once had this problem too, but I solved it. Besides the fat greasy gamer part, I, like you, have a large backlog of games. From game sales to games I was generally interested in once upon a time. The amount of games I've started, such as Skyrim, Breath of the Wild, and never completed, you wouldn't believe. If I put them all up together, it would be about the size of a midget. Now what we need to do is get this midget and shrink it down to about the size of Will Smith's dignity. How, you ask? By doing the one thing you know what to do, yet you still don't do it. Play one game at a time. Now I am talking to myself here. It is hard to play one game at a time and it's unrealistic. Us humans, I didn't sound very human then, like a whole wide range of games to play. So we'll jump from one game to another game to another game. This just leaves us with a problem that we don't actually complete games. So I have a strategy. I can't speak English. What I do is play 2 games at a time. Only 2. Now this is still tough, but it still means you get a nice mix. So at the moment I'm playing Rayman 3 and South Park The Broken But Whole. Now this creates a nice mix of games. One's a bit longer than the other, meaning I can focus on both games and complete both games at the same time. Now this is the best method I've found. No one wants to sit down and play Skyrim until it finishes. That's such a long fucking game. So you want to mix it in with other games, but not too many, that's the thing. You want to mix it in with another game. So for example, let's say you want to play Final Fantasy, which is a super long game. Mix it in with, let's say, Mario Odyssey or something like that. A nice little mix just to change it up. Now actually doing this is a different story. It's a very hard thing to do, but you need to keep to it, because you could have all the game strategies in the world and yet you still won't complete them if you don't keep to them. But here's the thing, you need to actually be enjoying the game. Don't just play a game because you want to finish it. Just play it because you enjoy it. And here's another tip. You might be that type of person that has to 100% a game. I wouldn't do that. Of course, do whatever you want. Personally, I wouldn't do that because there's some games that take way too long to complete, and by the time you get 100% on them, you never want to pick up that game ever again in the future because it was just that tedious. So I wouldn't recommend doing that unless you're really into that type of stuff. I would say just complete the main story and some side quests. Jobs are good, and then move on to the next game and come back to in the future. Now what I would do is look on howlongtobeat.com, and this will give you a great idea of your type of play style. So let's say you're casual, will take you this many hours. Let's say you speed run it, it'll take you this long. And if you're a completionist, well, I hope you haven't got a job, because it's going to take you a long time. But there's definitely some games out there you can complete very quick. The one game I've 100%ed is Astro's Playroom on the PS5, because that didn't take me very long. I thought it might as well. So yeah, there's definitely some I would. But definitely just focus on completing games that you enjoy, of course. And hopefully this will allow you to turn this midget into Will Smith's dignity. Now, the thing with Will Smith's dignity is it gets smaller and smaller every year. Like a few years ago, it was actually up here. But after he slapped Chris Rock, it shot down. And then, of course, there's always different ways to do it again. The strategy I use is the one I just said about 2 games at a time. But you could also do, for example, 1 game per console. So let's say you have multiple consoles like me. On Xbox, let's say you're doing a Halo 2 playthrough. On PlayStation, you're doing Ratchet and Clank. And then on Wii, you're doing Mario Galaxy. And then on Switch, you're doing Super Mario Bros. Ultimate. I don't fucking know. On the fucking Soldier Boy, you're playing some ROM games. The Soldier Boy console is the best console. Don't fucking argue with me, alright? It's so hard nowadays with the amount of games coming out. For example, let's say you're born in the 2000s. Well, you got a whole backlog already of games, such as the fucking first Mario and all that. So you got a lot catching up to do, basically. The new God of War comes out, God of War Ragnarok. Well, to play that one, you have to play the first one. You haven't got to, but you kind of want to play the first one. So that gives you 2 games you got to play. And this happens again and again and again. And some people like to play the first game, even if it's not in an order. So for example, let's say some people want to play Super Mario, and it just leaves you with a big backlog. And it is very tough. And I think the only way to actually work on your backlog is to do my method. Well, I hope you enjoyed. Hopefully these tips have helped you. If you did enjoy, you might enjoy this video. Now this video is my gaming collection. This will give you an idea of my gaming backlog. I have quite an extensive gaming backlog. I'm all the way down here. So yeah, in the video I share a lot of my memories about these games. You want to work on your gaming backlog so you have more nostalgic memories playing them. Well, I hope you enjoyed and I hope this helped. And yeah, see you next time. See ya.